So it's been 8 days since the debate state championship, and it was harder to recover than I thought it would be. By the end of the day, everybody was tired, so the tournament lasted over 12 hours, and they found a way in the past to make this thing only 11 hours long. So if you've done speech and debate, you know how long these things take, and they have to tabulate the results, and they don't want to make any mistakes. Thankfully, we have computer systems in place, but it's still not perfect. So if it takes this long, you can imagine how long it would have taken in the 80s or the early 90s. But one thing that struck me was, so last year and previous years, we do this at a college campus, the state championship. I would get locked out, or the elevators would stop working because a lot of people think that disabled people stop existing after 6 p.m. And it's just a disaster at the end of the day, so we're all tired, everybody's tired. And then I have to go to the award ceremony. So every tournament ends with an award ceremony after they've tabulated all the results. And this one is especially important because it's the state championship. And last year, one of the coaches, Jack, had to help me because, as in previous years, I got locked out of the building, except in previous years I got locked out of the building with someone else who's now moved to another country, who was teaching at my school, but so he's not here. So last year, Jack, a coach from another school, helped me by carrying me up this steep flight of stairs, and it was just really embarrassing. This is something that disabled people go through because of lack of accessibility, having to be touched by, able-bodied people and whatnot. And so this year, we tried in the past, so then I had the phone number of the campus's police department, and I was told if something is locked or the elevator is not working, you can call them and they will open it. Of course, the problem depends on how freezing it is outside, because it's the Midwest and the winter is terrible. Thankfully, the weather wasn't that bad last week. So I finally made it to the awards ceremony this year without getting locked out in the cold, without having to be carried up a steep flight of stairs that are made of concrete. And I'm just exhausted, and everybody around me, all the teachers from all the schools and the coaches that are exhausted, and I think the students are exhausted. And so Jack came up to me before the awards ceremony started, and that's where actually the picture was taken in the thumbnail. It was at the debate state championship before a bunch of people got to the awards ceremony. So this year I was one of the first people there, and he said, "How are you?" And he waited for the answer. And so I told him how I was doing. And I think we undervalue how important it is, how valuable it is when somebody asks you, "How are you?" and they wait for the answer. So today I had two people say, "How are you?" And then they were halfway across the room before I even answered. How are you is a question. It's not a statement. It's raining outside, that's a statement, that's an observation. It's cold outside, that's a statement. These windows behind me, which are gorgeous by the way, are green, red, and blue. That's a statement. How are you is a question. And so when we ask somebody, "How are you?" and we wait for the answer, it means a lot. We're showing concern for them. There's only 24 hours in a day, and we all lead busy lives, but just the act of saying to someone, "How are you?" even if you're not close to them, but I see coaches, debate coaches from the other schools, usually once a month, sometimes twice a month. So it's not like we're that close, but to have Jack say to me, "Hey, how are you, Jessica?" and wait, and I give him the answer as to how I'm doing, that means a lot. So if you're thinking about the people in your lives and not all of us, some people tell me their lives are not that hard, that they're pretty easy, but for a lot of us, we all have things going on, even if it's not necessarily health problems. And it just means a lot in our world where we're always on, but not necessarily connected. We're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, and we're texting people, but we ask them questions and we don't wait for the answer. So how are you is not a greeting, it's not an observation, it's a question. And so I have a question actually. I am not very good with technology, and I have tried and tried to add closed captioning to these videos, and I feel embarrassed that there's no closed captioning because it's important to me, and accessibility is important. It's a disability issue, but I'm not good with technology. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. If you do know how to add closed captioning to these videos, please let me know. Okay, thanks. Bye. Have a great weekend. Bye.